In the past, ice cream was the most innocent childhood treat. Brain freeze was the worst possible outcome, and the main point of contention was whether you like chocolate or vanilla. Officially, those days are ended. While you've been arguing over Ben & Jerry's against Häagen-Dazs, some seriously dubious companies have surreptitiously entered your freezer section with goods that make sushi from the gas station seem like a good option. 3 people were recently killed by a brand that contained invisible, odorless, and tasteless bacteria. Another messed up packaging so severely that families with severe allergies were sold ice cream that was packed with nuts. The majority of these recalls take place in secret, hidden away in FDA databases. No alerts across the country. Just a gentle reminder that you might want to hold off on drinking that pint you purchased last week. These companies, meanwhile, keep taking your money while considering safety precautions as optional recommendations. Let's now discuss the 5 ice cream companies that ought to have warning labels. Because life is too short to risk dessert, these are the 5 that truly merit a place in your freezer. You want to believe that Bluebell has learned their lesson. They have spent millions on public relations ads promoting improved standards and a renewed dedication to safety following their devastating 2015 Listeria epidemic, which physically killed people and forced them to shut down their whole operation. Unfortunately, their behavior speaks for itself. Nut-containing ice cream sold in cartons with 0 nut warnings was one of the goods that Bluebell secretly recalled a few weeks ago due to allergen mislabeling. This is potentially lethal negligence, not an oops moment for families with severe allergies. Anaphylactic shock can occur from consuming just 1 spoonful of the incorrect substance, and Bluebell's reaction was practically a digital shoulder shrug. This is especially upsetting because they have positioned themselves as the family-friendly, wholesome Southern brand. Their track record screams industrial shortcuts and regulatory gaming, while their marketing shouts handcrafted goodness in traditional recipes. They have perfected the art of appearing remorseful while making no changes to their core quality control methodology. Friendly's established their brand on accessibility and nostalgia, establishing themselves as the cost-effective family choice that offers reliable quality without going over budget. Regretfully, their recent performance has only been constant in its capacity to subvert fundamental food safety in incredibly subtle ways. Recently, their cookies and cream ice cream wound up in vanilla bean containers, which seems innocuous until you notice that the labeling for the vanilla beans failed to identify 2 of the most prevalent allergies in America: soy and wheat. This wasn't a one-time mistake or a printing mishap. It passed through several checkpoints before reaching consumers, indicating a major breakdown in their production and labeling processes. The most annoying thing about the Friendly's failings is how they've mastered the art of being invisible. Because they have mastered the bureaucratic language of reducing liability, their recalls hardly garner media attention. Everything is characterized as cautious, voluntary, or only impacting a small number of products, even when the contamination exposes structural issues in their supply chain. Since they are distributed by UNFI, one of the biggest food distributors in the nation, their errors are spread to hundreds of merchants with no one directly accountable. It's the ideal setting for a play about accountability. While consumers are left wondering which labels they can truly trust, all parties involved can blame others. The connection feels somewhat one-sided when a company that takes pleasure in being amiable is unreliable when it comes to basic allergy disclosure. They want to remain in the shadows of the food service business, which is where Rich's operates. They don't require your brand allegiance, therefore you won't locate these products in typical grocery stores. They have locked down healthcare facilities, education districts, and government contracts. They are therefore far more harmful than brands that are concerned with public opinion. More than 100,000 individual ice cream cups were recalled from establishments in several states due to their recent Listeria outbreak. These weren't expensive beers that were kept in boutique freezers. These were mass-produced cups given to hospitalized patients who were at risk, as well as youngsters in schools. Contamination is especially nasty because the individuals who consume Rich's products frequently have little choice and are unaware of what they are eating. Institutional obscurity is what makes Rich's thrive. Even though patients don't ask for them and parents don't select their items, they nonetheless appear on hospital meal plans and lunch trays nationwide. Because the final customers are unaware of the brand they are consuming, This creates a perfect storm where contamination can spread extensively before anyone even recognizes there is a problem. The most unsettling thing about Rich's business is how totally they have shielded themselves from responsibility. Publications from the food service business that the general public never read contain their recalls. They don't have to make public declarations or provide explanations. Their clients are contract managers and purchasing departments, not private citizens who could ask questions. Institutions should hold a brand to the highest standards when they trust it to feed vulnerable populations. The system allows riches to get away with treating such criteria as optional guidelines. Breyers, a company that capitalizes on its decades-old reputation while subtly deteriorating its real product into something almost distinguishable, is a symbol of all that is wrong with contemporary food marketing. The majority of individuals aren't even aware that they've pulled off one of the grocery store's most successful bait-and-switch schemes. The original Breyers recipe was renowned for being straightforward. Natural flavors, sugar, milk, and cream. People selected them over rivals with lengthy ingredient lists because of their brand's overall simplicity. A large portion of Breyers' product line can no longer be legally referred to as ice cream due to the high amount of artificial ingredients, stabilizers, and additions they use. Although it is legally a frozen dairy treat, the majority of consumers are unaware of this change because it has been hidden. Breyers, which is owned by Unilever, has emerged as a prime example of corporate cost-cutting masquerading as product innovation. While using the same packaging, pricing, and marketing messaging that helped them establish their name, they have methodically switched out expensive ingredients with less expensive ones. The end result is a product that has a familiar appearance, but offers a totally different experience, one that melts in strange ways and tastes manufactured. The fact that Breyers has purposefully hidden these developments is the most cynical part of their metamorphosis. The visual logo is still simple and clean, implying the same healthy simplicity that their initial items offered. The company's founders would have been appalled by the thickeners, emulsifiers, and artificial flavorings that populate the ingredient list, which reads like a chemical experiment. Every transaction feels like a slow-motion swindle when the main selling feature of a brand is transformed into deceptive advertising. Through the use of Pennsylvania farm images and wholesome marketing material that implies their products originate from some bucolic rural enterprise, Turkey Hill has spent years fostering an image of pastoral authenticity. The truth is much less pretty. This brand, which is owned by a corporation, puts volume and profit margins ahead of the safety requirements that their advertising suggests. Real metal shavings that survive production, quality assurance, and distribution before being noticed by customers can be found in chocolate marshmallow ice cream. It takes more than one piece of equipment to cause this kind of pollution. Anyone who is familiar with food manufacturing standards should be alarmed by the suggestion of systematic failures in maintenance, inspection, and safety procedures. Turkey Hill has experienced rapid growth since being purchased by private investors, putting market penetration ahead of quality assurance. A sizable amount of their production has been outsourced to co-packers, which are independent producers who manufacture under Turkey Hill's name, but are subject to their own regulations. This disjointed strategy maximizes profit potential while making accountability all but impossible. The disconnect between Turkey Hill's marketing and reality serves as a wonderful example of how contemporary food firms take advantage of consumers' confidence. Although their packaging portrays farm-fresh ingredients and small-batch production, their actual business model entails industrial-scale manufacture dispersed across several locations with differing degrees of supervision. If there are metal fragments in your farm-fresh ice cream, you may want to consider the meaning of that farm imagery. Turkey Hill's genuine dedication to prioritizing profits over people is the only thing that makes them genuine. If this study has revealed the dark secrets of the food industry to you, please hit the like button and subscribe before we go into the brands that truly deserve your money. Here are 5 ice cream brands that you can purchase without endangering your health. Like traditional ice cream enterprises, Tillamook is farmer-owned, vertically integrated, and truly answerable to the people who produce and utilize its goods. From the pastures where their cows graze to the factories that make their products, this Oregon-based cooperative maintains complete control over their supply chain, providing a degree of oversight that corporate-owned businesses just cannot match. Their ingredient lists read more like real recipes than chemistry tests. They include real cream, real vanilla beans, and fruit that is grown on fields rather than in labs. Because of their cooperative structure, which enables them to put quality ahead of quarterly profit margins, they defy the industry trend toward high fructose corn syrup and artificial thickeners. Not because it's popular. When comparing Tillamook to corporate competitors, the gap in openness is readily apparent. They inform you how their products are manufactured, what their cows eat, and where their dairy originates from. Since they genuinely manage these production-related factors, rather than contracting them out to the lowest bidder, this isn't marketing jargon. Rather, it's knowledge they can offer. Above all, Tillamook has fought against the private equity upheaval that has ruined so many once respectable food companies. They can make long-term decisions based on product quality rather than short-term financial engineering, since they report to their farmer members rather than Wall Street investors. Tillamook feels surprisingly human scale and truly accountable in a sector that is becoming more and more controlled by anonymous corporations. Although they rarely do, Straus Family Creamery exemplifies what organic designation ought to entail: total openness, true environmental responsibility, and goods that, rather than using deceptive marketing, demonstrate their superior quality to support their high price. They have built their entire business around upholding the integrity of their certified organic certification for each and every product they produce. They have direct control over their Northern California factory, which removes the co-packer roulette that has compromised the safety of numerous other brands. They can maintain uniform standards and react promptly to any possible problems thanks to vertical integration, which eliminates the need to manage intricate supply chain links or assign blame to outside parties. Their production processes are influenced by their environmental dedication, which goes beyond mere platitudes. Regenerative farming techniques enhance soil health, glass packaging removes microplastic contamination, and their closed-loop systems reduce waste. These aren't sentimental marketing gimmicks. These are operational decisions that impact the safety and quality of the product. In addition to vocally criticizing the regulatory changes that permit industrial agriculture corporations to utilize organic labels while continuing factory farming practices, Straus has been outspoken in his defense of organic standards against corporate dilution. Their readiness to take political stances in support of food integrity indicates a degree of dedication that goes beyond maximizing profits, which is a welcome shift in a sector where businesses would stop at nothing to promote their goods. Ben & Jerry's has demonstrated that great ice cream and moral corporate conduct are not mutually contradictory by mastering the art of being truly progressive without compromising product quality. Since the 1970s, Ben & Jerry's has upheld its dedication to real ingredients and social responsibility, while other companies put natural labels on chemical mixtures. Instead than using marketing jargon, their ingredient sourcing represents true values. For decades, they have been utilizing fair trade certified products from family farms that adhere to their standards for animal welfare and forgo the use of artificial growth hormones in their dairy supply. They truly mean it when they say all natural. No artificial flavors, no high fructose corn syrup, and no quick cuts that sacrifice quality in order to increase profit margins. Their readiness to take political stances that might cost them business is what makes Ben & Jerry's unique. When it would have been simpler and more economical to remain neutral, they have fought against factory farming, backed climate action, and promoted social justice initiatives. Activism is not what this is. Their operational decisions and company model both incorporate it. Their integrity might have been shattered by the 2000 Unilever acquisition, but they secured unique independence clauses that safeguard their ingredient standards and ethical goal. Ben & Jerry's has upheld its quality pledges and is still growing its ethical sourcing methods, in contrast to many other firms that use acquisition as a pretext to take shortcuts. A brand has earned your freezer space when it prioritizes values before profits and truly delivers on both. Häagen-Dazs is a perfect example of what happens when a company dedicates itself to true premium quality rather than merely premium pricing. Since they can achieve excellent texture and flavor without the use of chemical enhancers, their ingredient lists are surprisingly brief. Better ingredients and conventional ice cream making methods help them achieve this. The idea of using only 5 ingredients isn't a marketing ploy. They are compelled to source excellent raw materials due to a production standard. Their milk has the butterfat percentage required to produce that distinctly rich texture without the use of chemical thickeners. Their strawberries are chosen for their flavor intensity rather than shelf stability, and their Madagascar-sourced vanilla. Nestle owns Häagen-Dazs, which could easily adopt the corporate cost-cutting strategy that has ruined so many other high-end businesses. Since their reputation rests only on providing an experience that warrants the pricing point, they have instead upheld their initial criteria. If you cut corners on Häagen-Dazs, customers will notice the difference right away. Using extended churning durations and temperature controls that produce greater integration and smoother texture, their manufacturing process puts quality before efficiency. Instead of being cleverly marketed around inferior ingredients, the end result is ice cream that truly tastes like the high-end product it promises to be. It's worthwhile to support a brand that can command high prices and truly deserves them. Blue Bunny does not claim to be groundbreaking or artisanal. They just provide dependably delicious ice cream without the ingredient fraud or safety controversies that so many of their rivals face. Delivering on promises without any drama or controversy can sometimes be the most radical thing a food company can do. When compared to industry standards, their safety record is exceptionally clean. Blue Bunny has consistently upheld quality control throughout its wide range of products, whereas other businesses have had to deal with Listeria outbreaks, metal contamination, and mislabeled allergens. They have demonstrated that sacrificing safety standards is not always necessary for large-scale production. The quality of the ingredients falls somewhere between premium and affordable. Instead of using the chemical additives that give cheap ice cream its false flavor, they utilize real cream, real fruit, and familiar flavorings. Although it's neither artisanal or organic, it's real food prepared by individuals who know what a good ice cream should taste like. When it comes to innovation, Blue Bunny prioritizes flavor diversity over gimmicky additives or production shortcuts. The ice cream aisle has turned into a battleground between businesses that appreciate their clients and others that take advantage of them, between honesty and dishonesty. The firms that are worth avoiding have perfected the skill of using marketing imagery and nostalgia to appear reliable while cutting every conceivable corner. The brands that are worth purchasing have taken a more difficult route, upholding quality standards that are more expensive and yield lower profit margins, being open and honest about their ingredients and processes, and accepting accountability when issues arise. They have demonstrated that producing truly delicious ice cream on a large scale without sacrificing integrity or safety is feasible. Every purchase you make is a vote for the type of food system you wish to support, and your freezer space is valuable real estate. Kindly subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments section.